Hi, this is Michael Spokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. Today I want to deal with how to regain lost credibility. I want to speak about how to regain lost credibility. And I want to just start by saying that credibility is lost by many things in life, or it's a lot of things that are contributing towards the loss of credibility. And some of those things that causes a loss of credibility is not being true to yourself. Somebody who's not having integrity, somebody who's not having a backbone, somebody who's actually flip-flopping and doing things that are not consistent in themselves. So also when we speak about loss of credibility, it's also when you are not telling the truth, when you're somebody who's not believing much in telling the truth. And also telling the truth goes also with promises, whereby if you've made promises to people and you don't fulfill your promises, that makes you to lose credibility. Now, overall, when you look at credibility, credibility is actually built by truth, is built by consistency, is built by being true to yourself as well, and also keeping the promises. So, and all those things are together, making you to have the credibility that you have amongst the people. Because credibility comes along with trust. Because when people trust you, then you're credible to them. Because people trust only people that are credible to them. But based on that, remember that there are times when you will lose your credibility because you have done something maybe stupid. You have done something that's a big mistake, a scandal, for instance, that exposed you to the people, for people not to trust you anymore. When they look at you, you're not credible anymore. Maybe you've promised them something, you never fulfill the promise. Or else they know you to be somebody, but they found you to be something else. Because in this life, there are challenges where people are today this way, and sometimes the following day there's something else. Or something that you've done that is wrong in front of the people. And they look at you and say, we cannot trust this man anymore. We cannot trust this woman anymore. And you've lost your credibility, therefore, because of that. Now, I want to say that it is possible to regain credibility. And that's the reason why we want to speak about this today. That don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Don't think because you've lost your credibility, that is it. So please, there is something that you can do in order to regain your lost credibility. And that's what we are addressing today. The first thing that will help you to pick up your credibility and regain it is to first admit to your own mistakes. Now, arrogance will tell you not to. Arrogance will tell you not to say sorry, not to apologize, not to accept that you've done a mistake. And many people that have done mistakes and never agree or admit to their mistakes, their credibility is lost and it's difficult to restore it until you come and say, I am wrong. I've done the mistake and I've committed this mistake. So therefore, I own up to this mistake because it is me who have done a mistake. So when immediately you say that people start to look at you at in a different way. People start respecting you. People start honoring the credibility or the honesty that you have by admitting to mistakes, because there are not many people that are able to admit to own mistakes, and that is why people don't forgive them. That is why people don't see them credible at all. Because if you're trying to cover up instead of admitting to a mistake, you are going to mess up even more. And therefore, people are not going to trust you. And that is why credibility is gone. So therefore, admit to your own mistakes. Secondly, acknowledge responsibility, therefore, because when you have done a mistake, you must actually take up the responsibility. Because mistakes are coming along with consequences. Mistakes are coming with payback. They're coming with seeds of or harvest for it. So therefore, it's very important that when you have done a mistake, you own up to the mistake by taking responsibility. Because there are those mistakes that are very costly and in real cost. So therefore, when they are costly that way, so they would need you to first admit, and after admitting, take responsibility of the consequences. Take responsibility of those mistakes, because immediately you take responsibility of those mistakes, you're making the people to believe again in you. You make it the people to start respecting you again because you have taken responsibility. People are forgiving, by the way. I want to emphasize that. People are forgiving. But people are forgiving to people that admit to their own mistakes. They are forgiving also to people that take responsibility when they've done wrong. So that's very important. But when you've done wrong, you've done a mistake, and you don't take responsibility, nobody would actually forgive you. Nobody will actually embrace you again. Nobody will bring back your credibility. So you are actually tarnishing your credibility when, one, you don't admit your mistakes, or else you don't take responsibility as well. That's very, very important that you acknowledge responsibility. The other thing is you need to render apology to the people that you've offended. Because many times when you look at the scandals that we go through, they are involving people. We are living, by the way, in the world of people. We associate with people. We are social human beings that are forever living with people. And you'll realize that most of the scandals, or if not all, and everything that we do, that is a mistake, is generally because it's a mistake against people. It's actually a fault that we've done against people. And that's the reason why when you want to regain your credibility, identify those people that you've offended and therefore apologize to them. And unreservedly. Don't actually reserve the apology. Be ready to say, I am sorry. Be ready to apologize. Be ready to be genuine and honest in your apology. Because if you are not genuine in your apology as well, people can see when you are not genuine. People can see when you are not honest either with the apology, because when you are not honest with your apology, therefore people are not trusting you. So your credibility is gone, and it's difficult to recover it or to regain it when you are not able to apologize. So render apology to the people. The other thing is you need to accept the consequences as well. And as I've said a bit earlier, that there are results to every mistake. Every mistake is costly. And every wrongdoing has got its own fruits. So therefore, when you have actually done something wrong and the consequences are following, you must be able to accept the consequences, because you are the one who has done the wrong. You are the one who have done the mistake. So therefore, it is very important that we look at it and say, are you able to accept the consequences? Because you cannot say that I admit for my own mistakes, I acknowledge the responsibility, and therefore forgive me because I'm rendering apology, while you're not accepting the consequences. Because those mistakes that you've done, when they come with consequences, those consequences are not going to just vanish. They're not going to just be removed. You need to make sure that you acknowledge and accept the consequences and receive them and go through the punishment if you have to go through punishment. And this is very important, because if you're going to get credibility, if you're going to regain your credibility back, make sure that you accept the consequences as well and go through the punishment or the treatment, the consequences that you're faced with, and make sure that you acknowledge that and face them without doubt. Act to correct the situation. Now, I want to also mention that credibility is not gained when you've done a mistake, you live in that mistake, and you don't take action to correct the mistake. Because remember here, you have actually said sorry to the people. You have required or requested rather apology from the people. And as you request apology from the people, remember that apology is only requested if you are prepared to change from the direction that you've taken, to change from the same mistake that you are doing. So therefore, if you are not ready for changing, so therefore don't ask for apology, because you are wasting your time, because you cannot apologize for something that you're not ready to change. Because that's the right thing, that if you are going to change, then please, you ask for apology, but also you must act to correct the situation. So you must show signs of repentance. And repentance is not only verbal, it's not only to say, I'm sorry, but repentance is a total change to the direction that you are taking, and take another life or restore something again in your life that is different or contrary to that which you are doing. So you cannot behave in the same way while you have apologized and say you have taken responsibility for your mistakes. So in this case, you must actually make sure that you take a step to act to correct the mistakes and to make sure that you correct the situation, because recovering the lost credibility and trust, you're going to need to change to that which has made you to actually fall into that. I want to end up here today, and I want you to ponder upon this. Your host, Mike Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us, and I hope you will actually take these tips and make use of them in your life as you try to regain credibility that you've lost. May the good Lord bless you, and allow me to say cheers for now.